And I think sometimes we forget how magical life is, and it's not granted to be here. How many things had to happen to sit now here?
We always need to function. We always need to kind of do our things right and fill others' expectations. But then we never learn, okay, what is actually my need?
How honest are you to yourself? Because I have been an addict, and I know what I was running away from. I was running away from my light. I was not running away from darkness. If I have now like $500 on my account or like a $2 million apartment, it doesn't matter, because this is with all the stuff like outside in the world, like not having anymore, no wealth, nothing. I'm successful because being with a person that I have a commitment and a strong bond.
Welcome back, everyone, to episode 13 of the Molding You podcast. I'm very happy to be joined by Alexandros and Marie, who traveled from Europe to join me here, and I'm so grateful. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much for being
Thank
here.
you,
Let's do
yes.
this.
Of course. So, also my first episode with a couple, which I think is great because you guys are a beautiful couple. But I'd like, if you could, to kick off the conversation, just tell a little bit about your story. And I found you through the internet as your high impact mentoring, and I've been getting into mentoring. So I just resonated with you very much.
I will just look straight into the camera and say, like, please stay with us for this show, because I met him a few months ago online, and we built up a very profound connection through the internet. And I have to be very honest, I met this person like 1 hour ago. He picked us up on time. He's an absolute baller. And I say this as somebody who traveled the world on a bicycle, more than 60 countries. And I want you to stay in this episode because we are going to share a lot of wisdom and experiences from life that will help you to live a better life and a more healthy life and a way more thriving and vibrant and fearless life. So please stay with us, because I know in these times today, when you scroll and you watch stuff, you get easily distracted, but it's worth it. And now I want to let Marie introduce herself, and thanks for being here. And also thanks for having us, man. It's a pleasure to be
My
here.
pleasure.
Thank you, man.
Thank you so much. I'm Marie. I also traveled through the world teaching yoga, looking for nice surf spots, because this is my passion, to really surf everywhere where I can. Also, the other passion I have is helping people and teaching yoga, coming back to your body, to your inner strength and to your inner power inside of your body. And that's what I do. That's what we do together, like helping people finding back to their inner power, to their like health system of really taking care of themselves. And
it's your first time in America.
Yes, and it's our first time here, so I'm really, really happy that you invited us. And
It also started very nicely, I think, huh?
Yes, true. Yeah.
You can ask her, like, the first encounter was with the guy from the tree rail to go
The
from
tri-rail train. Yeah.
How you call it?
Tri-rail.
Tri-rail?
Because there's 3 counties: Palm Beach County, Broward, Miami. So it's the tri-rail.
Nice. And we said, like, hey, we have to pay by card. He said, like, hey, we have sometimes problems with foreign cards. And then we tried 4 or 5 cards.
Yeah, and it just didn't work.
And what the guy said then?
He was just like, okay, you know what? It's not your fault. The machine is not working. Take a picture of my
ID card.
ID card. So the guy who controls you in the train, he will see that it's like
approved.
So you can just join and don't worry, have a safe trip. So that was really amazing.
And when the guy came to the train inside, he's like, tickets, please. And it was a very cool guy, sunglasses, a dude, like really baller guy. And then we say, like, hey, you know what? We can't have the ticket. I would like to explain, like, who is that guy in the picture? Who is that guy? And he said, like, hey, you're good, bro. You're good, man. God bless you. And then she was like, wow, what happened here, man? Is this America?
Yeah. It was
and 1 hour later, we go to Whole Foods and we're buying some stuff. And the guy's like, hey, it's your first time? Okay, I give you a little discount. He's like, what is going on here? People are so nice. Also, the guy who was cutting the carrots, who said that he's out of corporate, but he wants a job where he's more with nature. And then he was cutting the carrots in the fridge area, the vegetable area.
Yeah, he told me he wants to do like more for his body, not sitting all day long in his corporate job. So now he's taking care of the vegetables in the supermarket to like sell them freshly. So it was a really nice experience.
Yeah, we are just like, I think also from the flight, like very like pumped.
Yeah.
And then running into you. Stay with us because this is going to be a wild episode. I also saw your profile, and I have to be very honest, like you're like made for, because you ask like a lot of questions in the chats when we were chatting. about mentoring, you are already a mentor. The way how you approach us, the way how you ask for inviting the people, the business that you do with the mold is a mentoring. You help other people to get healthy, getting out of an environment which hurts them, and you helping them to remove that mold of their house. This is like also a job that makes you, I think, gives you a reward, right? You feel like at the end of the day, you feel like I'm doing something good for people. And the video you shared to us with us today, you should share this in the section about like linking it. The guy said like we need a human connection infrastructure because it's all in our society about infrastructure, bridges, hospitals. And he said the most important right now is like a human connection infrastructure. We totally agree with this. We see this living in Switzerland. People coming to us from all levels, like mostly like high net worth people. And they say like, I have everything, but I'm not fulfilled because my human connection is always number one. It's always purpose, values, relationships. In the end of the day, no matter if they consume or they go through some life struggles, it has always something to do with a connection. First of all, it has to do with the connection about themselves. And it's also why we started this podcast with a breath work, which was guided by Marie to say like, hey, let's get connected. It's also a very powerful triangle, you know, you sit there, we had to get connected here. So I would like to give you the lead for this interview because I think we're going to experience like what brings us here together in life. Why a Swiss girl, Greek guy, American guy comes here into the studio from Cole and doing like an amazing episode that helps other people out there to become the best version, because what we see from traveling, and she has a lot of travel experience, even for her young age, 31 years old, I'm 38, we traveled extensively. How you say it's extensively?
Extensively, yeah.
And we have seen one thing around the world, all over the world. People want to be in peace. People want to be in tranquility. People want to have control over their emotions, over their anger, over their anxiety. People want to really have a good life. And this starts with how you talk. I remember you reaching out to me. It was a very polite, and I tell you guys, check his profile. He's a baller, absolutely. The way how you approached me, how you asked for it, how to make it happen, how many back and forths of how we're gonna do it. In the end, I said like, hey, the way that we can do is like, we have something to do in Mexico. We come over here and we're gonna make that happen. And the patience that you had and the ideas, and this is like, it's so beautiful to see that we don't even know each other, man. But we have a strong bonding already. We're sitting in your car. We met your friend. We might go later to eat something. Like, life is beautiful. And I think sometimes we forget how magical life is. And it's not granted to be here. How many things had to happen to sit now here? How many generations of her and you and my ones before had to make love with each other that we come to this planet? It's amazing. We should never forget that. Everybody out there should never take for granted that we are breathing and we are alive. And I think also is one of the reasons why you reached out to me, because you see what I'm kind of preaching in my videos. It's like, be thankful for what you got. Like, it's amazing to be alive. It takes a lot of things in this universe to bring us here.
Yeah, I think about that a lot, how crazy life is. And, you know, just being alive is crazy, and then living another day and another day. And that's why I hear a lot that, you know, your whole life is kind of like one day. Like today is your whole life. Tomorrow, we don't know anything about tomorrow. But, you know, we have to make the most out of every day. And I've saw you online spending your time helping other people. And obviously you built like a successful career out of it, right? And so you're high impact mentoring, and you're living in Zurich, which is like the most expensive city, right? You said in the world.
One of the most expensive
Yeah,
cities,
yeah. It's just very inspiring. And I wanted you to share, you know, a little bit more about what got you into mentorship, and kind of where do people start? Where do you think people should start?
So first of all, I want to give credit to this woman next to me, which is obviously my partner, which is also the first time in public that we are talking about this.
Yeah,
Because we're like 2.5 years together. She reached out to me. She heard a podcast show. And she's like, hey, you are very wild. Your energy is crazy. Who are you? And I was just checking this message because I get hundreds of messages. But it was this kind of like cute energy, and also the honesty of like, hey, I listening to your podcast and I find that beautiful, and this gives me a lot of power. And then also she speaks German. We grew up in Germany. She is born in Switzerland. You will speak for yourself so people don't get me wrong. I just sometimes want to make it easier to understand the story, so I might take words that she would say. And she was born in Germany. I was born in Germany, but she was actually born in Switzerland. But we speak German. And the first time we got on a call without video, I think the first 3 months we were like just dating on a telephone. She said like, hey, listen,
And
I'm in this spot.
Sorry, not even with the video. We were just
Audio.
phoning, like
Just in text.
easy.
Yeah, we were like, because I was living in Mexico. And there was this beautiful person who like wants to change her life, but she was already like super successful without knowing it. Kind of like a limited belief that is my special skill, like to destroy those limitations. It's the same for you. Say, I want to become a mentor. You are a mentor, man. There's no way that you're becoming a mentor. You are. Like how you sit there, how you strong and physically, your appearance, clean, fresh, man. Absolute baller, man. I love that word. To all my New York friends, it's thanks to you saying baller. And you are like a baller. If I go
Did you
to
play basketball?
no, it comes from there, right?
I saw you had a shirt, like a Jordan shirt on in one of your posts. I thought you played basketball.
Oh no, but I know it comes from there.
Baller,
from balling,
yeah.
right?
I mean, there's a lot of ballers. Basketball.
But the
Usually
word
the
baller for
boss,
New
yeah.
Yorkers is like more like this kind of powerful,
Yeah,
in
like
their
a boss.
tune with themselves, like a baller, like yes.
Mhm.
So this goes out to Joey, who's teaching me that like a baller. And you are like a baller. If I would think about baller, it would be you and Joey and these kind of Edward people, like baller people, like people with courage, with character, with personality, without pretending. You are who you are, and this is beautiful, man. And
Appreciate that.
You're welcome. And to get back to that story, she's reaching out to me, and I felt like this is a baller girl. Like, this is amazing. I gotta make a call phone. And the first thing she said, like, the weather's not good. And the Germany is like, who's forcing you to stay there? You're like a yoga teacher. You can go everywhere. People need you. It's like, okay, that's going to be a wild ride. And then after a few months, we met up in Mexico. We never be separated since then. And we traveled the world. And I felt in my company that there's one element missing. In my company, it's about a lot of talking. A lot of like, let's break through the things, like people coming to me saying like, I got divorced. I pay $7 million to my ex-wife. I will never find another one. I'm done. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking? Is it actually okay if we talk like this in the call?
Yeah, you can
Okay.
say whatever.
And because I was in Berlin like 2 months ago, and they said like, we cannot talk like
I
this.
think it's fine. It's
Yeah.
YouTube and they're
Okay,
fine.
nice. So people come to me and they have these limited beliefs that they will never be anymore like back in their shape or something like this. But it's all like temporary. Like everything is temporary. Like I decide right now how I feel. And also if something happens, like I decide how I react on this. And when she came into my life, she was teaching me like, hey, you have a lot of knowledge about like all these limitations, but how is your physique, like your breathing? And I was like, yeah, I do sometimes, like in the gym, like some stretching. Like, no, look at me, I show you. And then I was like, oh my God, what is this girl doing? Like legs up, sheer body control fully. And we realized, listen, teach my clients. At that time, I already had an established business. Teach my clients to get into silence and into peace. And we started with like brokers from Wall Street saying like, hey, do you want to introduce you to Marie? In the beginning, it was like, they thought like it's kind of like a freelancer working. They quickly realized this is my partner. And now the truth is, I think she can talk about this. People come after 5-6 weeks of mentoring and say like, hey, listen, Alexandros' work is amazing, but your work is really making a difference in my body, where I feel every day like, we have a trader from Lithuania. He's very like Russian style, Ukraine style, like East European style, like dry. Like when you ask him like, how are you?
Like-
Today I feel neutral. And
Like
he's
really-
a very, very,
really
this guy in the
rational.
beginning said like, I don't know if you need your wife for this kind of work on my body.
Meditation.
Now he's messaging her, when is next session? And this shows me a lot that your work is very, very important. And because it's the first time publicly announcing that we are like also a couple, you're not only like the most important part in this company in terms of helping other people, you're also the most beautiful person that I met in my life. So thank you very much for reacting on this podcast and coming into my life. Thank you very much. Danke dir, Marie.
Thank you too.
Yeah, that's beautiful. There's not a lot of couples these days I think people can look to for. I think a lot
You
of
think so?
people
Yeah.
are giving up on
Yeah.
romantic things because there's a lot of crazy people, especially here in South Florida, where everyone is
There's a lot of distractions, or no?
partying and distractions and so much money thrown in there. But that's beautiful. And yeah, I mean, you do yoga and breath work, and is there other aspects?
So basically, also I'm a social worker. I studied back in the days in Germany, finished my bachelor, and then I started to travel and learning more about yoga, educate myself in every kind of country I travel to. So I learned a lot of new insights also from the roots of yoga. Where does it come from? What is also like the deep effect inside of your body, and not only doing like the asanas or that kind of yoga as a workout, as you can also see like nowadays everywhere. But then I traveled to India, and I needed to kind of also dive a little bit deeper into the whole history of yoga because I got so interested to it. And then I learned like that it's super important to find, even for people, like as I was used to do before, like helping people back in the days, I was teaching more like kids, teenagers, working in families, helping there with any kind of problems they had in society or even like with the government. So I was always used to help people or to guide people. But then now when I found out that this kind of yoga aspect or awareness aspect of how you can really solve problems or even situations when you go more inside of your body and kind of not looking into the outside in terms of escaping, consuming, or whatever. It was more about for me to figure out why do the people suffer? Why do they feel so bad that they need to do consuming or to take drugs or to drink or to
Escape.
to escape and to create maybe that kind of addiction or that kind of escaping mechanism, which is always then turning to the outside but not to the inside. And it's also something we never learned in society. We always need to function. We always need to kind of do our things right and fill others' expectations. But then we never learn, okay, what is actually my need I need to fulfill first before I step out and like create also something for others. So in that way, I learned a lot about myself, of course, of also other people, looking into different areas of other people's lives as well. And then to figure out what they really need to feel better within first, to find that inner stability and that inner power to then also be a better person and step to the outside and create a new life. And
I think this is also the reason why we work pretty good with each other and the clients is because they have this kind of like talk with me, going through like limitations, seeing things from a different perspective, learning about gratitude and about like, hey man, like there's so much in you, like also woman, like I use the word man, but it's for like, hey you. And then Marie is going there and integrates all this into like guided meditation, in breath work, in like feeling where is pain, where is tension. And the combination made us actually, I don't like the word successful because what does that mean? I had a friend of Elon Musk in Mexico City, sitting next to me. He used to work with him in a PayPal. And then I said like, hey, how to get wealthy? I asked him. He's like, you are healthy, so you're already wealthy. And I sit there like he just said these two sentences, and this goes like for 5 years in my head. Like, hey, he's so right, because the rich people in Switzerland or like from everywhere in the world coming to us or flying us in somewhere, like you can see when they are like financially wealthy, it doesn't mean that they're happy. So out there also with social media and all the TikTok and all the reels, like there's a misunderstanding about what does it mean to be successful. We are not successful because of the business. We are successful because we have a relationship where she knows everything about me. I know everything about her. She has the access to my phone, and there's no hiding. There's real love. Like, like I have a commitment with this person. It's like I know that this is the person that I'm gonna, when I wake up in the morning, I'm gonna serve. Also, I serve also to others out there, but this is in first place serving to myself, to be strong, and then serving to this person who gives me this back that I can go out there and be that guy that I am. And then this is success. If I have now like $500 on my account or like a $2 million apartment, it doesn't matter, because this is with all the stuff like outside in the world, like not having anymore, no wealth, nothing. I'm successful because being with a person that I have a commitment and a strong bond. So also what we see a lot is like there's huge amount of people out there, as more successful they are in the outside, as more pain they have inside.
yeah.
So why all these wealthy people come to us and hire us and say like, can you fly there? Can you do there? Can you do a retreat in Tulum? Can you meet up in Bern, Switzerland, wherever in the world? And then when we come there, we see they have everything that people call successful, and they sit in front of us and they say like, I'm not happy. And my marriage is not how I want. And I started to cheat, and I consume more and more. And then you have to shake these people up and say like, hey, wait, chill. Because in the outside, you have everything. You can pay your rent. You have your wealth. You are good. You're going to make that happen. Because what these people say who live in the Congo and digging up like resources that we have new iPhones, they don't have the time to think like, I have a depression. They need to grind every day just to make like meeting their ends and paying their bills. And there's no depression. In those places, when I go to Bangladesh or we go to India for personal work, like people have nothing, they smile like they would be fucking multimillionaires.
Mhm.
And so what I want to also tell people out there, don't get blinded by like success. I think deep inner success is if you sit here and later we go to eat something and we smile and we look at the sun and we get some walk without shoes in the sand and we feel baller because we have a good talk, we have a good connection. We're going to invite you to Switzerland. We're going to have you there as a guest and then make another podcast episode maybe in Switzerland. We will say, like, hey, man, how are you doing? And this is like a connection. Has nothing to do with money, has nothing to do with, well, one flight ticket to Switzerland, okay, but like what we see more and more is like the wealthy people that come to us, there's so much pain hidden and so much trauma and so much like inner like frustration and like they're avoiding this kind of work because they have comfort. And it's also why I made a video about like for wealthy people, it's harder to get sober because they do like ding ding, cleaning lady, ding ding, driver, ding ding, cooking, ding ding, laundry, ding ding, my company works. I have the passive income from the millions on my bank account. For those people, it's sometimes very hard to say, like, how do I escape? How do I not escape anymore and just do the work? Because they have always a way to go around. But there's always a point where they come and say, like, now I need really to look at this thing about my marriage, about my connection with my daughter, about my consuming. And then there's where we get in. There's where we take these people as like human beings. Because I don't care if Jason or Nicholas or Brandon or whatever has 15 millions or 10 millions or $2,000 per month. I look, first of all, also in my videos, I speak always to like everyone out there and asking for one thing. How honest are you to yourself? Because I have been an addict and I know what I was running away from. I was running away from my light. I was not running away from darkness. Like most of the people are not afraid of darkness. They're afraid of their light within there. It's the same like you told me writing a book about mold. Bro, you're like a professional in the mold industry. If you're going to write a book, I guarantee you it's going to rank in the top books. Why? Because you give your life about this topic. You're going into this house and he told us in the car, I sometimes even like it to help just for free if I can, to help others. If you go with this kind of attention into book writing, say like, I want, if somebody buys for $19.90 this book at Walmart or whatever, wherever they can buy in a place like where you can buy books in the US, and they were gonna have like changing something in their house and they have a better life thanks to your book, this is your intention. Your intention is not to sell 2 million books to make money. I know you. I know you long enough. I know him from the chats that you're not this kind of guy. So imagine what kind of power it is. And also Tony Robbins said this a few days ago in a podcast. If you create impact for others, positive impact, you're gonna be economically rewarded. And this is what we do. We ended up in Switzerland not because we can afford to live in Switzerland. We ended up in Switzerland because we get rewarded with the work that we do that we can go there. We never planned Switzerland. It was never on our list.
Yeah.
It came very unexpected. We tried everything before, South Africa, Cyprus, Germany, and then out of nowhere, with a lot of like connections from left and right, somebody said like, hey, we got an apartment in Switzerland. We are going to move. You want that contract on that apartment? And we moved in this area in Switzerland and realized with our neighbors that we are the youngest entrepreneurs out there. They're talking to us like on the lake. What kind of exit did you do that you can afford to live here? We're like, well, exit. We're full-time working. Like we're working 15 hours a day, every day. Like, so I want people to see that success from outside living in Switzerland is not what we aimed for, never. We aimed, since we know each other, to go out there, if it's you or like an old lady or like a young person or like a girl in India or whatever, to provide some kind of content, some kind of knowledge that will make that life better. And I think going out with this kind of intention, like you helping other people to remove their mold so their kids can be healthy, going out with a positive intention in your life, there's nothing more rewarding. If I can then buy a flight to Miami or if I can then eat a good steak in the house, or it doesn't matter because it will come. It will come if you follow like this deep intrinsic motivation of like, I want others to be better. And I think the first is when I did the bicycle trip in 2011, which you might saw on my profile. Because for some people, I went on a bicycle in 2011, just traveled the world without money. For me, it was like I needed to stop the drugs. I was always escaping. And this was my way of like getting back to my roots. I took a bicycle. I cycled every day. I ended up in more than 60 countries in my life, just cleaning toilets at McDonald's or some bars, or like just doing help on a farm to get some food. I had nothing. When somebody gave me a $5 donation, I will never forget that. It was for me like, yeah, I can buy everyday fresh water now on this bicycle trip. I had my little tent. And there goes a lot of shout out to the Americans because I had once then a blog, a page which called Bike for Peace back in the days. And then an American lady from Las Vegas said like, hey, you know what? I play tonight piano and I sing with my team in Las Vegas, and we would like to donate you this because you're sharing all the time all these stories about your bicycle without money. I think a little bit money would help you. But it's American style. They go big, like they have big ideas. And I was thinking she will send $50. And the next day she said, oh, we did the concert, we did this, our fee goes to you. And I opened my PayPal, and I sit I think in Serbia, where I live from $2 a day, maybe $50 a month. And I opened the PayPal and it says 2,000. I'm like, 2,000? I was the first feeling I had was I need to donate half of that to some other people. So instantly I searched other travelers and gave $50, $100, $50 until I went to 1,000 because I felt so no. This is way too much for me. And I tell you something, what happens from out of this behavior. As soon as you start to share with others, it comes double back. It's like that because with the moment I shared with the other people, you know what they did back in the days? They wrote a blog post. I got a donation from a guy, his name is, and more people came on my page. And after this, I saw consistently that my account is growing. More people look at me because I shared. And then other people came from GoPro and sunglasses and, hey, we want to sponsor you. I'm like, what is going on here? I just want to give away so I have my minimum to live and I get more and more. And it's the same with everything we do in our work. If somebody books us, we always deliver, but way more when we promise. Because we believe you need to also grow constantly. It's the same you're going around and making this mold thing. And there's new ways and new technologies and new things. And this is why you're in business. People call you up and know hey, I tried 3 other guys. Now it's you. And they stick with you because they know this guy is going to help us. And I think this is the ground motivation and everything, what I personally do. Marie will speak for herself, but I think going out there and making a difference and serving other people, this is the best high that you can get. This is also why I'm sober today. I don't want to touch any drugs anymore because the biggest high that I get, the biggest kind of mental boner I get is from going out and making a fucking difference because we have a very limited time. How long we have more? I have 30 years, 38 years age. I have 50 years to do something because in 2,000 years, nobody will remind anything of me, maybe. But there's a light chance that some people in 200 years will say there was this wild guy with the big nose doing a lot of crazy content, helping others. And he just wanted to walk without shoes, around on the beach. Because life is so simple. As more as I realize, life is so simple. You have a good partner. You have a good, really, foundation with yourself. You go to hit the gym. You bend that fucking iron. You eat good. You go to shit in the night. You take a shower. You brush your teeth. You sleep. You repeat to help others. What more is there? My Bugatti and my house and my stuff will not help me to get in peace with myself. What helps me to get in peace is my partner next to me in the bed says good night, babe. Since the first day she does that. And after 2.5 years, I think this is success. Having somebody who looks at you the same way from the beginning and having this kind of connection. And I wish that to you personally too. I'm not sure if you're in a relationship, but you're an amazing person, I can tell. And you're stable and strong. And whatever comes your way, just confront it. This is also one of the reasons why I do all these videos every day. I want people not to say get sober, because it's not being sober. It's what are you running away from? It's not about being sober. It's about what pain are you avoiding? Because in this pain that we have, there's so much power. And she unlocks that too, because people look deeper, closing their eyes, instead of scrolling for 5 hours and saying oh my God, there's something very big in my gut. Oh, in your gut feeling. Why would you say I have a gut decision or I make a decision out of my gut feeling? So if there is some tension inside, she's working on that. And if there's some tension in here, I work on that. And I think this is bringing us together also as a couple, the work that we do with other people and saying listen, there's this person in Dubai, there's this person in Germany, there's this person in Los Angeles, and then we want to help them. There's just this deep intrinsic motivation. If they pay or not, okay, this is the other thing. This is make a business successful. And we have the luck that people come who have the liquidity. But all the content that we do, all the groups that we give for $40 a month, doing all our work in there, everybody can afford. And if people out there say they cannot afford personal transformation, it's absolute bullshit. How they can buy a $2,000 iPhone? How they can buy a new car? How they can buy every day, on the weekend or every after work, drinks and smoking, all this. If I see my clients getting sober, they say oh my God, how much money I wasted on drugs. Yeah, if you put that money into yourself, you become the drug. And the drug calls reality, your own reality. So quitting this monologue, thanks guys for listening. I give back to you, but now the people understand from where I come from without knowing all my travel stories and stuff like this. But the intention also sitting here and spreading a message with you is everyone out there has the same tools and the same potential. I believe that. If one person can make it happen, another person can. If I can get sober and can live in Switzerland, you can too. If you can build a mold business, somebody else can do. The question is always just, how much do you really want? And you want. I see your content. It has a reason why it has millions of views. Because you said in the car to both of us, I wanted to create content where people learn. I wanted to create content where people like educate themselves through my knowledge. You didn't say like, I want 1 million views that everybody can see what a handsome guy I am from Florida. You said you wanted to create content that people can learn, where people educate themselves, where they can get better in their house. So I might not need to come there, but if, of course, I'm going to go there. So, brother, the intentions of us sitting here is also why people will feel like, okay, that there's a reason why people get successful. There's a reason why people thriving in life. Because it's not about me and you and us anymore. It's like, hey, you out there, take this opportunity life in your hands and get out there and do something. Wake up and serve. Service, 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 my mentor Joey says. It's so true. It's a service that you do. It's a service that she does. It's a service. And doing service feels amazing. What else I need? A little bit of water, and that's it.
Yeah, no, it's such a great. Your energy is next world energy. You know, I think that's why you come here to Florida and people are like, take free stuff because you have crazy energy, in a good way, of course. But yeah, it's interesting. You know how the internet has been such a help, right? Because you know my first million views on a mold video was I was just sitting on my mom's patio in like a t-shirt, just sitting there. And I wasn't expecting 1 million views on that, you know, out of everything. But it's just educating people and entertaining.
Was your first viral video?
Yeah. And
And
I'm
hit like straight like 2, 3, 400,000 and went to up 1 million?
1 million views, yeah.
And how quick?
1.2 million. Pretty quick. I mean, it
Nice.
went up and then it kind of stopped
Yeah,
around,
well,
you know, 1.1, 1.2. But
I like how humble you said it stuck at 1 million.
yeah, I mean, well, now I've had some that even went higher. So I see
Super.
there's levels, and you know, I see people that get 1 billion views on some things. But I love how your story was like people from the internet were just donating, and but you talked a lot about the successful people, and I always thought it was interesting how you work with those like wealthy, rich, money. They have a lot of money people, but they hate their life.
Well,
and-
we have to say something about this, bro.
Yeah.
I don't want to cut you, but I'm 38 years old. I started this trip when I was 24. And I always help people no matter where they come from. I think just with this kind of crazy life experience, which makes a girl sitting in Munich, you were in Munich when you heard the podcast, oh? How was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
Where did you hear the podcast when you reached out to me? What was the reason you reached out to a stranger on a podcast show?
Well, I had also like a lot of travel experience, and I tried to find my own way, also with yoga, with following my own path and seeing how can I even like get further and to serve other people more. And then like actually a friend of mine, she recommended me a podcast, and it's like a German woman. She lives in Bali, and then she does interviews. So
And she's a surfer, we have to say that.
Yes,
Everything what is
yeah.
with surfing, she loves.
yeah. So then in the end, I just went through her interviews, and I never heard about your story, never. So then it just kind of popped up like randomly. So I clicked on it, and I was, of course, like realizing your energy and also your experience from traveling, and I just kind of matched with it. And I felt like, okay, wow, another crazy people or another crazy guy, like let's say in the world who travels and just see what the world can also be like in another point of view. So, and then I felt so connected also that I thought about, okay, just reach out to that guy and see what do you think, or how do you see the world, and what is your mission in the end?
And I asked this question because you didn't see a guy who's doing like mentoring with wealthy people.
No, actually, I was never on your Instagram profile before. I never saw any kind of picture or post or whatever of you. It was just like how you spoke about life, how you spoke about yourself and the way you experienced life in general through your travels, and also your personality. It just felt like that it matches with my intention also to see the world and to see people.
And this is why I tell you, like the niche with these super wealthy people from all over the world
just
flying me in.
happened.
It just happened because they
Yeah.
see he's a humble guy. I mean, the guy comes here without shoes. The guy doesn't wear like Rolex and stuff. Like I believe like in simplicity. I believe that like the value that I have is like taking off a shirt, going into the beach, coming out, and experiencing with other people like a good time, saying like, hey, you look great, or you look how fucking shaped you are. Like, if we go to the beach, I will make you a compliment. You will say like, this guy is crazy. This is not. And then when we go to gyms, I do compliments to other guys who are like, will be like this, and then I crack a smile out of them. They're like, hey, motherfucker, it doesn't happen many times that somebody gives me these kind of compliments, but you're sure you're not gay? I'm like, no, man, I'm just in love with people. I love people. Like, I love people because we are human. It's so makes us so beautiful.
And I mean, also, I think we as people in this society, I think we unlearned like to really appreciate that the simple lifestyle or the simplicity in life. Because there's, of course, we have all the appointments to manage, all the schedules in our daily lives and family, friends, maybe also kids involved. So of course there are a lot of responsibilities we have to kind of manage, and also to find a way to deal with life in general. But in the end, I think there's not so much what we really need, like these kind of basic needs to really feel good and healthy with ourselves. I think all the other distractions we also kind of need to face because we live in that kind of modern society, of course. I think that just brings us away from ourselves and away from our basic needs and from our core power in general. So in that way, I think we make life more complicated, even we don't even know that we are doing it. So we are so much in our head, in our ego, and like kind of figuring out where we want to go, what kind of...
instead of being here, instead
of really taking care of your heart and really following your heart and your gut feeling in that way, and not always be so controlled of our egos. Yeah.
This is a good example with these wealthy guys. I'm in New York. Somebody invites me to Manhattan to a baller, like super party private. And there's a beautiful girl who comes from Florida. We figured out later. And it was cold in New York. And then we're standing around, and all the guys looking at her, and nobody says what is obvious. She's just amazingly beautiful naturally. And she has like high heels, and then the nails were perfect. And I see at the details, I'm like, I'm going to say something that everybody sees, but you're so beautiful. You're gorgeous. And then she's like, oh, thank you very much. And then I was just naturally, and just like 2-3 sentences. And then one guy, like with a Rolex and all these comes to me and said, hey, bro, how did you do? Like, she really was into you. I said, bro, I was not hitting on her. I was doing what everybody saw. She's just working on herself. Because I also said, like, you putting a lot of work in that beautiful body. She's like, yeah, thank you very much. I'm doing Pilates. I'm doing this. I'm doing yoga. I said, also the nails and everything, the skin, perfect. Like, why you have that beautiful feet? I mean, they are good colors. I live in Florida. I have more sun, and then this is also why I want to show them, obviously, because I really take care of them. And she was like really blessing, I was like unfolding. Blossoming. Yeah, right. And then 2 guys coming to me with this big watch, like, hey, bro, teach us how you did that. I'm like, what did I do? I just said like that she's beautiful. I just said for my... I said, well, you don't want her number? You don't want to, what? I'm like, no, this was not my intention. Why I should do that? I mean, and she knows me. She sees also that I'm very like open with everyone, like old people, young people, whatever. Like, and then these guys come to me and say like, hey, what do you do? I said, yeah, I help people to get into self-leadership, and also my focus more on sobriety, and they have holding a drink. And this is how these guys come to me. And they say like, bro, really? And you live like what? Where? I'm like, yeah. And then they say like, but where's your watch and where's your shoes? Bro, I don't need that. I said, well, we go later after this party to a club. You will not enter the club. I said, who says that I'm not going to enter the club because I have this kind of Birkenstock or flip-flops? I said, bro, we are from New York, we know. And we walk after this party with all of the guys, and these 2 guys are like, hey, bro, I can guarantee you're not going to get in there. And the first thing I do is we go to Brooklyn, and I go straight to the bouncer and say like, hey, bro, you know what? This guy is saying that I cannot go in because of these shoes. Like, bro, I don't know why they say that. For me, it's good. I said, but there's a huge line. We cannot cut that line. He's like, hey, bro, money talks. I'm like, I'm taking $200. I give this guy, I make like, he takes all the guys in. The guy's like, who the fuck is this guy? I'm like, bro, for me, there's no limitations, Like, I know that the bouncer is going to do that. There's a VIP entrance, which is free. So I make myself VIP with what matters here right now. We're in America. Like, money talks here, right? And the guy's inside like, hey, I need your contact. I'm like, bro, I have a waiting list. I cannot just work with you. Like, what waiting list? I'm like, you can start with me in like maybe 2-3 months. And this is how I get these people. I don't look at the guy, oh, he has a Rolex, he has a thing. I look at his behavior, at his attitude, because real wealth comes from like being a personality. It's like you, bro. You don't need all these things. You have a normal car, you're like a normal like dress, like, but you're a baller. You know, if you go to the beach and you stand up with your chest out and you know about all these mold thing, like you have the knowledge, you are like somebody who can provide something. I think always when people come to me with watches and stuff like this, I always like, I don't judge them because I know where it comes from. It comes from our conditioning in society. Buy that car, buy that watch, be that guy, and everybody tries to be some copy of something. But we are all very unique, man. If they shape how we are, the language that we use, the way how we move, how we feel. And I think the best work that she does in the company is to get people back to who they really are.
Yeah.
This is so sexy work. The girl's crying in these calls. The guy's in tears, like, oh my God, I never felt this emotion. And we are like sometimes sitting there like, what emotion? Like this real emotion where my body is like shaking and all this. I feel like, I feel like free. And we're like, yeah, we are on the right path. Because this is, in the end of the day, we are like very privileged to be alive. Our parents made love with each other. We came out of there. Nobody in here knows why we're here. But I know definitely why I'm not here. I'm not here to waste my time and to talk shit. I'm going out there and tell people straight in their face. If they have money or not money, I tell them straight. We go to the lake in Zurich, and some people are like, hey, calm down. Like, you're very straightforward. We are in Switzerland. We want some distance. But there's always like a few people say like, come here. We're in Switzerland. We're too distant. I want this. I want this kind of straight up talk. And the intro calls too. Some people come out of the intro calls. We're offering 15 minutes intro calls. And some people come out, they're like, I never expected that you would be that straightforward. I'm like, I don't even know if I live tomorrow. So better I tell you now what I feel in this call rather than postponing. Like I tell you what I feel. And I think from living from a feeling, it's very powerful. It's also the main reason why they love your work, because they start to feel again.
Yes, and in the end, I mean, it's also about like really being honest to yourself and to your own needs and to other people then as well. But first of all, you need to be honest to yourself. And in that way, you need to know yourself. You need to know your fears, your traumas, also like your weaknesses, your strength, like all the whole package of yourself. And of course, like you explore yourself like step by step. So I think I don't know if there's like a point reached in the end that you fully know yourself and there's no other area of your life which is unexpected. I think, of course, that's life. You learn all the time you create also new sensations inside of you. So in the
awareness.
end, so your awareness is always growing. But of course, you need to listen to yourself first.
You need to do the work. We have to call it out. People don't want to do the work.
Yeah.
You look at your workout. Yeah. It's not coming because you're sitting and watching Netflix and eating like Snickers. How many times you hit the gym? Almost every day, huh?
At least once a day.
At least once a day. Look at the answer. This is why this guy looks like that.
Yeah.
Why you can do the split and doing the pancake and the handstands? Because you train every day.
Yeah, and in the end, I mean, life is hard work. It's not that it comes from like everything is falling from the sky. No, you have to really go for it, what you wish for, and then you focus on it.
And this is the thing when she says wish for. Yeah. Most people don't know what they wish for. We ask people why you wake up in the morning and they say like, I have to go to work. This is not an answer. Nobody forces you to go to their work. I wake up because I want to make a difference, man. I want to make people smile. I want to inspire people. I hit every day since a year, like a reel. Every day is a reel out on my Instagram. And I feel like this is my kind of like present. Like every day I want to give some value. And there's always one person saying like, this helped me. And I feel like, yeah, if the video has 8,000 views or 50,000 views, 100, I don't care. I know that one person out there sitting in Bangladesh or Nepal or like in the States or in France is saying like, merci, this helped me a lot. I never saw it from that perspective. And then after 5 months, you get a message. She sees that every day, say like, from that video, I started to follow you. I don't even smoke anymore. I stopped smoking. And I feel like we didn't do any mentoring with this guy. He just watched videos. So I feel like this is why I keep going, because I know there's a difference. It's the same like you're hitting content out there. Also now you're mentoring content, which is good. I encourage you, bro. Just keep going. The algorithm is doing one thing. It sees like who is consistent, who is real about that. I see people like in Switzerland, they come to us, say like, I create a own company. And then I start. And after 3 or 4 months, they say, I go back to work. And we're like, why? It didn't work. What does it mean it didn't work? What do you think that you go out there for 3 months and you're going to build this studio like the guy did here? He's 1 year here. He's doing now better and better. But after 3 months, there's nothing happening. It's like in the gym, okay, you will see some success, but the growth comes from consistency. And this is why I encourage you, stick with your content, push out messages. Also, don't be afraid what other people will think about this, because about me, how many hate comments I get, I feel all the time like, wow, you spend your precious time on my profile to talk shit in the comments, you have way too much time. Go to work out. Go to do something good. How you can fucking have the time to do something negative? I would never do that. I have so precious lifetime that I feel like before I comment shit on something, I would say like something is wrong with me. Why I should do something negative on a profile of other person who wants to provide value. And then I feel like, okay, you know what? Thank you. And I comment them with love. I write, hey, all the best to you. I send you much love. And they're like, what the fuck is going on there? And then they write me privately sometimes. They say like, bro, I'm very triggered by your videos. I want to apologize. After weeks, I said, from what? And then they screenshot the comment. I'm like, bro, it's 10,000 comments back. I don't even know anymore. But I make an audio. I'm like, hey, I send you a lot of love. Whatever you need, book a free call. And like, why can you love me like this and give me this kind of positive energy? I came in and talked shit about you on your profile. I'm like, bro, because you're in pain. And I have been in pain. And I know what pain does to people. If you eat that inner pain and you're going out, you see that the system is fault and the problem is the president and the money system. No, there's no problems out there. 500 years ago, we would like starving because no food. And 1,000 years back, we would be like somewhere like with a cut in our hand. You know that better when everyone else, or like mold or something, an infection, and there's no antibiotics. Antibiotics,
Yeah.
and we would die. And now we go out there and I take my phone, I call in Brazil and WhatsApp video and 4K and this and boom, and then I go to the gym and supplements and that, boom, boom. You go to Whole Foods, you get food from all over the world and cucumbers and this, and you don't do anything for that. Like, this is amazing. This is the best time to be alive. So if people come to me and say like, their system, I'm like, you know what system? Your system. Your health, your sleep, your mindset, it's you. You can't blame anything out there, because as long as you can breathe, you can make a difference in your life for others. So for me, sometimes I get triggered. I get triggered highly, and she sees what I do. I take a telephone and I spread out a message and say like, listen, I know how you feel. And I talk to very normal people out there. But sometimes of these people, like some of them, yeah, they're wealthy. They can afford to come from New York to Zurich. They work with us. They buy packages. But this is the one thing why we do also one-on-one. So like with so much passion, we never let these people down. If we're going to 3 months and we see like we have still more work, we're going to make them another offer with a fair price and say like, listen, we might underestimate that work, but we not let you go. And we want to make that happen. And it takes maybe another 3 months. But our success rate is 100% because we would die for these people. She goes sometimes at 10 o'clock in the night because she knows that New York is still like earlier. And she sends something for the girl, says like, hey, you know, you need to do this today for your breathing and your nervous system. And the girl said, hey, you came to the right moment, like really, because I wanted to go to a meeting. I was stressed. And we know it was 10 o'clock at night for us, but it's not, it's like maybe 2 o'clock in New York. And I said, babe, come, we take some rest. Like, yeah, but I love this person. I want to help. And it's also why the partnership is very intimate and intense, because when you see your partner sacrificing every day for others, you know, somebody wants to serve like I want. I think this is a common drive. It's also why we don't have time to stress about our relationship. Like we both know, like we want to help other people out there as much as possible. And once we go from here, I don't take a Ferrari, I don't take a Rolex. I take my experiences from life up there, and Jesus will say like, hey, come in, VIP section for you because you helped out there. You know, I think like this out there. I think like you go up there and you need to justify what did you do. And when I see myself back then, like with 18, 19, sniffing stuff and ordering escorts and going to parties and blowing myself away until Wednesday and then going to do a sales job at my company and getting some bank and buying stuff, I feel like, what did I do there? How could I waste my time? Today, I feel like, wow, I have 12 hours. Let's take 11 and a half for serving, half an hour for a gym session, and then cooking. She makes amazing food, so we have a very good routine. But it's very my message for this podcast when we're coming closer to the end. Like out there, you're sitting there, you want to make a difference, start with yourself. Look into the mirror and ask yourself like how honest you are to yourself. Because this is the most important. This starts all from a foundation of honesty. And I had that moment when I was 2011 on the 13th of September, looking into my life and doing this bicycle trip, taking just some stuff on a bicycle and hitting the road for like 6 years without money. I needed this to be honest about myself. I needed this kind of time. And it's also why we don't reach out to people. We know in Switzerland, a lot of people who would need help. And she always says, we're not going to reach out to them because people need to come alone to us. You need intrinsically to feel like I need help. And this comes from an honest moment. People who come to us, they already signed up. We don't need to sell anything. They're like, hey, I follow you, I really need that kind of help right now. I'm like, okay, let's evaluate where exactly in your life, what kind of work, where we can guide you, where's your goal. And then it's not a sales process. It's more like, okay, you already signed up. You sold yourself already by being honest to yourself and saying, help. The video that you shared today is so important. I can even name it what they said. They said like people who do mentorships with others, they are more likely like getting 15% more salary, like 20% more higher the chance that they're getting their family out of economic difference, like challenges. Like it comes only with benefits. And I tell the people also straight in the camera right now, if I would be young again, the first thing that I would do, like rather when consuming and buying iPhones and spending money on a car, I would go to somebody who's where I want to be, healthy, mentally, like physically, mentally, emotionally. Somebody like you in Florida, this is a good example. Go to this guy. Hit him up in Florida and say like, hey, I want to have this body. I want to have this mindset. I want to have this strength to run a company. You're 5 years an entrepreneur, man. Don't forget that. You're 5 years an entrepreneur. There's guys out there for 5 months. They struggle. This is your audience. You show them how you got to 5 years. And you take our own mentor who's 20 years. What we do the same. Goes out to Jory in New York. He helps us to build that business. He's one of main people in our life who helps us to build that business, to also, when we have these wealthy clients, to approach them in a very professional way. Because if you go to Dubai and somebody makes $2 million a year, he doesn't want to hear mentoring for $500 because his lunch costs like $1,000 with his friends. So he's not going to buy like a $500 mentoring when his lunch is like double of the price. So you need to hit this guy with a $50,000 offer and say like, you want to make a difference? Feel it. And like, okay, now we talk. Because from his $2 million per year, 50,000 he will feel. The 500 he's not feeling. And this is why we ended up there very by accident. We never had this aim. We are the most humble people. Like we could buy this stuff and watches and cars, but we actually take our own food into the airplane. We did it with like a vegan butter, and like she puts all the nice stuff on it and cucumber and salt and pepper. And then we have sandwiches and we sit in economy because we feel like this okay. It's 7-8 hours flight. She will lay on my how you say like legs.
Lap.
Yeah, and then I go on top of her back. We are like a cute couple. And then when they bring the water and they ask what we want, we say like, thank you very much for serving. This is such a hard job. And they're like, you're so nice, passengers, so nice. And then we look at them, and before we hit the immigration, we go to the bathroom, we brush the teeth. We spent like half an hour yesterday in Miami airport to get fresh, and we come like ballers to the immigrations, and they say like, hey, you look good. And we came out of a 9 hours flight like shit, but we did it because we know how. So we are like very humble. And I think this is also why wealthy people say, I want to be also like a little bit like these guys. We have couples with a lot of money in Australia, all around the world, who say like, how do you do to be that kind of like normal? And this goes out to my Albanian friend Mergim. He says like, to be normal is like a flex. You don't need to be like super special. Like normal is nice. Do a normal routine. Be a normal guy, like normal girl. Be like humble. Be like low profile. We don't need to show anything. We sometimes show like our life in Switzerland just by walking and making videos, and then in the background they see the houses. But I would never show the world that I made it to Switzerland, because I didn't make it to Switzerland. Switzerland made it to me, you know? Like we attracted that. We attracted it because our aim was always to help others. And we came here not by saying, hey, invite us. It was you coming to us and say like, we want your energy here. And this is my biggest lesson in life. If you're going to start to become sober and get into clarity, you're going to attract the people that you need. It's the same for you. You're going to attract the people who want to work with you. Get out there and tell the people, I'm from Florida. My family comes from New York area, whatever. I moved here. I'm the first born here. I built this business. I did this. Boom, boom, boom. Take the shirt off. Show your precious body and say, like, if you want to get there, you're a business owner and you have the kids and family and you got a little bit weight. I got you in the 12 weeks program. Brother, people will sign up. Why not? Look at you. You have everything. And there's the only person that stays between you and your dream is you. Because the foundation out there is for everyone out there now amazing. A phone, an internet connection, social media, and we blame all these big companies. Without Meta and all these big companies, I would be like almost homeless. You know, like I don't blame the system, because the system gives us what we can use then to make this podcast. The guy out there buying all these products, making this studio happen, gives us the opportunity to spread this message. So the times have never been better. I cannot understand any person out there telling me like we live in bad times. Also, statistically, we live in the best times ever. Like less poverty, less, like, it's unbelievable. I read a statistic that in Germany, the people who have like a basic income live 400 times better when they're king of France a few hundred years ago. Like, imagine, like we have everything today. There's no reason to complain. And there's another energy that also distracts you. Complaining and bitching around and criticizing things gets you away from your core. Being a thankful person for being alive. There's nothing more amazing when being right now here. Being present. The word present, if you get Christmas present, like it's a present, but the present moment is present. Just the word already in American language is amazing.
It's a gift.
It's a gift. Present. being present, gift. I mean, how much more you want? Your language already tells you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like you talk about being normal, and people are always chasing something, right? Like relationship or more money, but normal is kind of just like having and being like
True.
I have a relationship, I have
Mm.
money to pay the bills, and I like talking about gratitude because I think people think it's just a crazy thing. Gratitude, how's that going to change my life? But
Highest frequency.
I think it's actually it's an exercise, right? It's like an actual, like a gym workout
It is. Yeah,
where
mental.
you're actually putting yourself into a different physiological state where you're actually sitting there and focusing on something positive. And you talk about frequency, that's like actually setting your vibration right. And you don't think about vibration, but your heart is beating to a certain rate. Your brain is pumping out electricity. And do you think people start with gratitude, or is it physical fitness? Because I know physical is so important too, right? Like that's why the yoga and the breathing, like people are crying because they've never just pushed themselves to focus.
I will give this question to Marie, but I think it's a mix, or it's a mental, emotional, and physical combination.
Yeah, true.
Also, like in our relationship, we do physical workouts. We go somewhere, we walk, we talk about things. We have emotional taking care. And I think it's a mix of mental, physical, and emotional. And gratitude plays a big role in my eyes. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, also I think nowadays people close their heart pretty quickly. Of course, I mean, things happen in life. Sometimes there is like a lot of pain, and then it's your responsibility to kind of find a way to really find peace again, or to work with that pain in the way of using it as
As a fuel,
a
as a
powerful
power.
tool to really come back to what you really wish for, and what you are really worth it also. And I think once people really experience this deep inner pain, they kind of close their heart, and they are so stuck with that pain that this creates a lot of tension inside of their body. And they kind of create a feeling of, okay, now this will stay forever. This is stuck forever in me, and I cannot have a good life anymore.
Because the brain is...
Because the brain, of course,
is
kind
afraid of
protects yourself, protects the body for even more pain. So then that's why you kind of want to hold everything together. But that's exactly what creates that tension and creates that pressure inside of your body, inside of your head, inside of...
This holding on, huh?
Yeah.
This holding on feeling creates this.
So in the end, we really need to learn also to let go naturally, that life is life and things will happen. And sometimes we have like really deep emotions which are painful. And that's also, I think, what is life about. I mean, we would not learn about ourselves, about different levels of emotions when we don't experience pain. So I think this will always be there in life. We just need to learn like how to really deal with it and how to find ways, like our own ways, because of course everyone then choose like a different path and a different tool in general, like what is good for the body. But in general, just to create that awareness of different emotions which are appearing during the day, during a lifetime, and to really learn and read these emotions and to still have like a sensation for it and not get stuck with it when something is right now really painful and bad. I mean, life is temporary, and I think also everything in general is temporary. So every day is a new day. So you will learn every day something new, but if you close yourself, then you don't allow yourself to really learn
you miss the
new.
opportunity.
So that's why I think we need to create that awareness to be in the present moment every single day, and of course to kind of observe that pain you feel inside of yourself, and also then to figure out, okay, what do I really need to feel better? And that's why I think gratitude and also awareness like are really important tools to to stay natural and to stay normal in the way of just like observing yourself, observing life in a perspective of learning every day something new, creating every day something new, and not get stuck and close yourself in terms of pain or in terms of any kind of experience you made. Use the experience to even step further and to open yourself up and learn something new.
Can I add something to this?
Yeah.
I remember my divorce. I felt like this is the most brutal pain ever. But today I look at it and I feel like this was an opportunity for growth.
Like, that was a close one.
This was, it was like, today I look back, it's like 7 years, 8 years ago, and I look at how miserable I felt. But it's also like there's two things, like there's this pain and there's suffering. And I believe suffering is optional. Because if I break my arm right now, it is broken, it's painful, but then there's suffering. I can say like, oh my God, why this happened to me? Life is so unfair. How could this happen to me? Why I didn't see like this kind of slippy floor from the hotel room or whatever. But I can also say like, wow, lucky I didn't die. Lucky I didn't hit my head. And I'm like, no, that, because it can also happen. Because I believe deeply that there's like always a perspective on things. Like, I see this when people come and they say to me like, oh, this is so painful. But first of all, who told us that we came to earth out of the body of our mother? Who said like, hey, welcome, life will be easy?
Yeah.
No, we came out of a very painful experience. My mother was carrying me like for 9 months in that body. And then she pressed it out and blood and everything. I came here, I screamed around, and nobody said this was going to be easy. Then the other thing, what we realized with clients getting sober, this is very normal. Like this is a very 100% guarantee. They say like, hey, it's not easier. My life is not getting easier. I said, no, life is not getting easier. There's no difference in getting, there's zero. The life is getting even harder because you are more aware, you are more sensitive, you are more like conscious about what's going on, but you becoming better in dealing with it. So instead of escaping into like a rush or like Miami party, putting the bottles and hiring the escorts, you're starting to say like, what I do on this party, why I open this bottle, what kind of compensation I have, what kind of small dick energy is that to bring all these people here and flexing with my car outside. And then you realize, oh my God, once you're sober, you will never go back to that because you feel like this is all an escape. It's all a compensation. It's all of like the feeling I want to be loved rather when I go out there to love. So what we always experience with people is they get sober and say like, hey, bro, it's like crazy. I mean, I paid for getting like sober and all this, and you told me my life is better, but it's very hard right now because now I see all the reality coming in. And it's also why I claim that reality is the strongest drug. And in our society, whenever it was from the caves until now, there's always this kind of escape culture. And we see this more and more. We go to Tulum and people say like, I am in a polyamorous relationship. I have been in a polyamorous relationship. I know what it means. It means like commitment, 0. Like responsibility, 0. Like, you know what? I can do whatever I want. You can do whatever you want. We are just like, we're going to make it. It's like now free. But no, it's just like avoiding all the real confrontation that a relationship like this includes. And this includes a lot of confrontation. It requires a lot of confrontation of like, there's a shitty side inside you and you need to take care about that. And when I was polyamorous and some girl told me like, this is a shitty side, I said like, you know what? Get out of my life because I have option number 7 and 8 and 11. And this is why I know exactly that when these guys come to me and we have these clients saying like, I want to be polyamorous. I'm like, no, you don't want to be polyamorous.
You want to run away from
You want to
your
run away
relationship.
from something very deep. And now we say about gratitude. I believe that pain and gratitude go hand in hand. Because once you have pain, there's an opportunity for growth.
Yeah.
If you go into the gym, you didn't look like this 10 years ago. Are you already 10 years ago?
No, well, I mean, college was, I didn't look like this, no.
No,
I started working out probably 10,
Okay, good. Let's say 15 years
since
ago.
I was a kid.
Yeah,
but
you are like
I'm in the best shape now, for sure.
Yes,
Yeah.
good. And there's a better shape coming because you know how to hit like the nutrition.
Definitely.
You do this,
Mhm.
stretching, bam, bam. You will grow. You will be more like bam, powerful, and also mentally and all this. And you know that if you would now say like, we just keep going with 3 times a week, it will not come. You will just stay. So I believe like when pain comes into our life, and pain comes in our life too. So like, believe me, paying like taxes in Switzerland, having high rents and $5,000 rent and all this and food, like is also pain, but it's also make us growth, like gives us growth opportunities. Because it was a very funny moment, like a few months ago, and this is maybe like relates with American people because it's very capitalistic and money and freedom. But we were in Portugal and we spoke to a guy, and then I said like, hey bro, it's a little bit pricey. And he looked at me, ate his food and said like, It's not pricey. You just don't earn enough. And it's hit me. I was like, yeah, he's right. It's not enough. Because I can choose also to go to like buy in the Whole Foods my stuff and cook in my Airbnb. I don't need to sign up for this Michelin star restaurant and then complain. I only complain because it triggers me in this moment. But this is an opportunity for us to think about, okay, we can grow. Because out there, nothing happens against you. The pain from my divorce was not the life up there sitting and saying like, oh, this Greek guy with the big nose, let's destroy him and make him like pain. The life was actually up there and saying like, this guy is not in tune with himself. He's not living his values. He's not living his purpose. He's not on his path at all. He's really distracted from his real core of who he is. You know what? We put him some challenges into his life until he feels. Because when is the moment you really feel you need to change something? People come when there's physical, when there's real things happening, like divorce or they lose a job. But until everything just floats and money coming in and partner is still there, even you drink and sniff, and she says like, I'm gonna divorce. And she says that since 6 months, you're not gonna change. You know when they call her up or me? She left. Oh, now is the pain strong enough? Now you want to take the opportunity to change? This is an opportunity. This kind of pain is an opportunity for you to say like, you know what? Life wants to tell me something. And unless it doesn't kill you, it will make you stronger. And this is why I feel like whenever we have pain or a fight, we take this as an opportunity to say like, hey, you know what? Give me your hand. Like we're going to go through this together. We're going to grow from that. Next time we act better in this moment. Next time we will react better. Next time we will speak better. Next time we will look each other closer, more aware, more like conscious, more like with more empathy. Is the word empathy?
Empathy, yeah.
So, and then you can be grateful for this because in the end of the day, I believe also gratitude has a high frequency. These people yesterday, like when we were on the tri-rail, and I said, Mister, is this okay if you help us with the machine? Yeah, that's why I'm here for it. And then I watched his name, Ramon. I said, hey, Ramon, thank you for helping us here. He said, yeah, of course, well, you're nice. And then he's like, how are you going to pay? I'm like, I have only card. He's like, okay, let's try. But sometimes the machine makes problems with foreign cards. And this was all the energy. I'm like, thank you, let's try. And also our language, we were so nice. We didn't expect he would give us a free ride. And then 1 card, 2 card, 3 card. He's like, you know what? Take a picture of me. I'm authorized. You can have a free ride. I'm like, thank you very much. But if I would have money, I would tip you. He said, nah, bro, that's okay, man. And he said, your smile already is a tip. And we went in there and I was like, I'm still nervous. I'm from Europe. I live in Switzerland. This is not going to work there. In Switzerland, they would say like, there's no ticket, please, $200 fine. And we were sitting there and then I heard like, ticket control. I'm like, oh, damn, how are we going to explain? She's like, chill. She's like, babe, chill. We just tell the story that he told us. And when the guy came, and I said, like, this is the way. Who is that guy? Who is Ramon? I'm like, oh, this guy is so funny, so full of power. He gives me fist bump, like, God bless you. And then we sit there, and you're right. This energy from the moment we wanted to buy the machine, also the intention behind. Comes also gratitude. Intention goes also hand in hand. We had the intention to buy that ticket. And we said to the guy even, if we cannot make it with this train, we just go up and take an ATM. He said, no, the other one is 40 minutes. It's not like, I don't let you wait now 40 minutes. And then the gratitude of saying bye, taking the picture. And I believe the same with Whole Foods, saying like the name of the guy, like Ilya or Eli. It was Eli, his name. Saying like, Eli, thanks for doing this. Like, oh, you know my name. And he was like very proud showing this. What I want to tell for the end of this episode is very important. How you go out there, what you say, how you act is making a fucking difference in this world. If you go out there, who wants to hang out with you? But if you go out there and you're spreading this kind of energy of like, damn, we go to the beach later. Can you show us the sand? Can you show us the beach? It's a real question.
Of course.
Oh, you are the best. I mean, he shows us the beach. He's not providing like a 5-star hotel and everything right now and then dinner. He's showing us the beach. You see me? He's showing us a simple thing, a beach. You can do the same difference. You can take your neighbor and say like, hey, you have a dog. Want to walk together that you're not lonely? You can do so many simple things that bring so much joy into your life. And I think this is what we help also other people to see simplicity as the biggest leverage that you have in life. Being here and talking gives me a good energy. Gives me a kind of like feeling like we're going to do a lot of new content. We're going to push you to write a book. Mark my words, there's a book coming from this guy about the mold industry. He's going to disrupt the entire industry with his knowledge because he does it out of his heart. And this is my message about gratitude and pain and also like the intention. We are here. We have no idea why. I have no idea why I came out of the body of my mother, but I know definitely why I'm not here. I'm not here to waste my time on being a shitty person because we are all going to die. And we're going to meet all up there. Your uncle, your cousin, your grandma who died, my grandma, we're going to all meet up there. And then it's time to face that. Like, what did you do on this planet which provides every day food, nature, all this kind of energy, sun, darkness, sleep, boom. What we do for that? I didn't do anything for it. So the least that I can do, man, the least really from heart to heart to you and to you too, the least that I can do is like try to be the best version of myself. And this includes mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually. Don't cheat others, don't hurt others, don't steal. It's not like I'm not even that religious. But if you see what they have like as rules, how you say rules or how you call this,
It's
the
commandments,
yes,
rules.
it's beautiful. And it's also in our relationship. We said from each other, I came from a polyamorous relationship. I said, I don't want that anymore. Please help me. She said, I can help you because I want a loyal commitment and this. And she was helping me every day to stay on my path. Also, people like Mike, Joey, Ingmar, Fabio, Freddy, these people are like, they care about me, not because to who I became today. This the person that I am in the moment, in the way how I talk to you, and the way how I look at you, and the way how I give attention to details. And this is why I'm very thankful for this podcast episode, because meeting you in the States, her first time in Miami or Fort Lauderdale, meeting a guy like you, Cole from the podcast who's doing a great job. If you need a studio in Florida, come to this guy. It's amazing. So this is like all like by what? By renting a studio, going to have a burger, and not spending millions of dollars, just spending like love out of the heart, straight into the room, and having a good time. So to both of you, I'm not even the podcast host, but I want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for being right now alive, because what more is out there? This is also why this word present moment is amazing. I love that word, present moment. Present as from a gift. So I'm heading over to you because giving you the microphone because I'm sure we're going to wrap up this episode.
Yeah,
But-
we're coming to the end, definitely. But, I like how you talk about obviously having a good partner in a relationship, but
Best partner.
you need a good relationship, but it's, also in business, you want to have someone, and finance and in the gym, like someone who can show you yourself, show you need work and help you, having that mentor. So towards the end, I like to leave like a mentorship mantra for people. But I'm curious, what really got you into mentorship? Like, did you have a mentor, or how did you know I'm going to help people was it just from your life experience?
You want to ask her the question before I start?
Sure. Well, to both of you.
Please.
So in the end, it was always my interest to work with people, to help people. That's also why I decided pretty early to study social work. And it was always my thing. I always had also the feeling, the connection to people, to understand them, and then also to understand myself better. And it was also my goal always to really understand myself better, to then help others. And that's how I just started with, like, pretty early. I studied the subjects and then I did internships. I was always working with kids, teenagers, as I said before. And then I just kept going. I never stopped in that way. And for me also, it's like super new to step into that kind of entrepreneurship, because before I was just like always having jobs, having also different jobs, which then gave me like a lot of opportunities to learn in different fields with different areas and also with different problems people had. So I even felt that I could explore more areas, like how to work with people, how to help them, to see the whole system, and also like the person itself as a system where we live in. And then like once we started working together, like of course I focused a lot on the deep inner work of meditation, breath work, somatic work, to really figure out, okay, where does this pain come from, like deeply from within. And yeah.
I have to answer that a little bit for her, just like in 1-2 sentences. But she comes from a background, she always wants to help people. She has this kind of like nature, comes also from the family. It's a very humble family. I met all of them, brothers, sister, mother, father. This is a family like out of a book. Like they are just like, the mother was like repairing jeans stuff, not buying stuff. They grew up with a very good education about health. The mother is a physiotherapist. Huh?
Yeah, my mom is a physiotherapist.
So she has this kind of in her DNA, like help others. And trust me, like for her, it doesn't matter if like the friend of Elon Musk is coming as a client or like a guy from Switzerland working in a corporate job. for her, she makes notes just with a top name and then notes, and then she sees a pattern and she's in this person and she's like, this is where I'm going to help this person. I go to burn and then I do the work, and I can see it comes from a very pure source. This is why if you put her in a sales call with a guy from Miami or San Francisco or like Tokyo, and she needs to sell the package, she's like, I don't talk about this. My partner's doing that. Because for her, the pure energy is like, I will help you. And this doesn't matter if she gets $100 per hour, like a $2,000 per day for a retreat. She's like more like, Alexandros, take care about that. And it's also what makes it so beautiful. I'm leading this company as a face, as a business guy, and I have a very strong attitude with my clients. But then there's this soft energy. And I can tell you, if I beat up the clients who coming out of a divorce and telling me that they are poor after they paid $7 million to the ex-wife, which is the half, so you have another 7, I tell them like really straight up things. And they say like, I had already a call with Marie. This is way softer. I prefer next week to talk with her. I'm like, no, guy. We are going to talk about this very clearly, because you cannot play the victim here after you have still 7 million left and properties and telling me that you feel poor. Because if you want to feel poor, we fly to fucking Bangladesh or like India, and we put you there in a factory where your Nike shoes get produced in Vietnam or your clothes in Bangladesh. And then you ask those people who earn $2 a day what is to feel poor while you're sitting on $7 million in your portfolio in real estate. And they're like, okay. And then they go to her, do the breath work, and they're getting ready, nicely soft, for getting structured by me. So we have a good ping pong play. And the reason you asked me why I got into mentoring, I wrap this up very quickly to not get too much of. First of all, thanks for being still here. If you're still here, message all of us, and we somehow give you like props for this, because it's a lot of attention that you gave to a podcast show, 70 minutes something. So the reason why I came into mentoring is like after my divorce, I wanted to jump from the roof of my own apartment. I wanted to jump, and I had not the courage to do it. And I remember I stood up there like, oh my God, you are such a like weak guy. You cannot even do that. And then I was like, no, maybe it's not weakness. Maybe it's strength to still fight for what it's worth in there.
Yeah, you had courage not to do it.
Yes. And then I remember I was there like in 2018, and I tried to call my dad. And it's funny that my telephone is in front of me, but it was like that. I put WhatsApp, and I'm like, okay, I could not jump, so I need to divorce. I know that my marriage is not working, and the only way is to get out of it. But I had not even the courage to do that. And then I said, like, I get advice from my dad. And the moment I put on speaker and he just said like, hey, I just closed the phone. I started to cry like a baby, because I realized, shit, I can't even tell him, because I'm not even standing up for it right now. I have not even the courage to accept it. So I need to go out. And I walked out in Amsterdam in a park and watched the trees, and I realized, what is the worst thing that can happen? I cannot jump from that roof. I'm going to be alone. I'm going to move back to my parents. I'm going to give up my company. And then I realized, I smiled. I had a big smile. I was like, but this is not ending. Like this also can be a start, right? And I'm walking in the park and I'm watching. I was completely sober. And I was like, hey, maybe I take this as a restart. And then I did a lot of work on myself for 1 year therapy, like going to different mentors. You asked me a mentor. Yeah, I had mentors, of course. I had a very strong one. Mauro in Switzerland, thank you very much. This guy was just destroying me. Whenever I became like a victim mode, he was in the camera, looking very close in the camera, and said, like, stop that this victim behavior. You're not going anywhere. You're giving power away by doing this. And then after 2 years, I also get physically way stronger. When today I destroyed it in the gym, I bent the iron. I felt like this is where I need to go out. And then I started to have a vision. I walking on the beach in Mexico during COVID, and I met more and more guys who said to me like they feel like broke and like mentally broke and emotionally broke from separating. And I said like, hey, wait, I'm the best example that you can get out of this. And I started to help people to get back to their inner confidence after they get separated. It became a big niche for me, like divorced people. And I also had a story. Like I had an entrepreneurship career. I stopped my business. I sold my business to Swiss guys, having a little bit cash, going back to the house of my parents, living there, being in the small room of my childhood where I jerked off as a kid on porn movies. And I was sitting there like divorced, 30 years old, sold my houses, have to pay lawyers. I'm like, oh my God, how fast time goes by. And sitting there and realizing like, okay, life is not over. And then 2 years later in Mexico, walking around like a baller and helping other guys, this gave me a fulfillment. This gave me like a feeling of like, hey, I can help other people with my story. It's like you share your mold stories from other houses. So other houses have not that problem. You help them with examples from life, like lived experience. This is also a reason why they book me. I have never seen a university from inside. Only reason I will go to universities is to speak there to students and tell them, like, listen, I have never been in that sitting here and all this. I'm from 15-year school out into real life. And what I want to say in the end of this podcast is like, everyone has a unique story. And your story can make a difference in the life of others. Her yoga story, your mold story. Like, we are all here and we have a kind of deeper purpose. And I believe the true story from within, shared out of your heart, from the cells of your body, boom, with a great intention to make a difference, will reach the right people. I didn't sign up like 10 years ago on the world trip to be then in Miami booked or like in New York or like Tokyo or like Switzerland. I signed up to go with the pain that I have, discovering on the bicycle who I am really and sharing that story. And that got me where I am today, right now here. So, but the real motivation was always like, how can I help other people to go through pain? And I believe pain is the biggest thing that we can learn from. Like, as more pain in my life, ask her even. Sometimes I feel like when we have like a big fight, we're sitting the next day on the lake, loving each other. Say, this was good. We learned a lot from that one. We need to change this and this and this. We need to adapt. We never see it as something like we never say like this is shit. We always feel like, look at our smiles. We're both like high on smiles like right now because we know that this helped us to become better. Pain is the ultimate tool to work on yourself. Even when you go to the gym and you make a little bit more weight and you feel like, you know, like, good. Yeah. Or she goes into handstand and splits and stuff like this. And when she goes into the split, she makes sounds like you feel like, what the fuck?
Sometimes it's painful.
And I say, like, how you feel? Like, this will be good tomorrow. And when she helps me stretching, I say, it hurts so much. You need to go through that. This is how growth happens. And this is why the divorce for me, in the end of the day, it was the pain that made me come to the rooftop and saying, like, end my life. But in the end, it was the pain that made me start my life. So as more pain you have, be thankful for that pain. It's going to help you to become the best version of yourself. That's my experience. And this is why I wanted to go out there and share that.
Yeah. And, people don't like pain, but if you go pursue it, it'll help you build. And people might not like helping other people. But if you actually do it, you'll see that it actually feels really good.
Let me tell you one thing about this thing. Mm-hmm. People don't like pain until they realize how much they can learn from the pain.
Yeah.
And we never learned how to deal with pain in school systems. If we start that is another podcast episode. But nobody from us went to school and said to the teacher, like, I have this problem with the girl that gave me like a rejection. How to deal? Your parents will help you. Your parents like, I don't know, I have to work. Nobody came and sit down and said, like, what do you feel from the rejection? What do you personally, emotionally, physically feel, spiritually feel? Nobody took care to tell this kid, like, this rejection didn't happen because I had a big nose. It's because this girl didn't want a boyfriend. And she said, like, let me alone. It was not because I have a big nose and I stayed 5 years with this idea, like, okay, Laurinda didn't love me because I have this big nose. Laurinda, today, if I write her, we say, like, you're an amazing guy, and you were always an amazing guy. But I was like 13 years old and you were like a kid and I was distracted and I needed to do my school stuff and I didn't think about relationship. While I was a horny kid thinking about like, this is the love of my life. But like nobody teaching me sitting down, not my parents, not my school. But once people come to us and learn about pain, they say like, I'm ready. I like that. I can learn. I got distracted. I got this. I had a rejection, but I feel like the rejection is like a navigation system. You get rejected by somebody, it's like life wants you somewhere else. If we don't close the deal, we know that this is a spot for somebody else. And a few weeks later, somebody says like, hey, I take that spot, So to finish this up, it's like, you can learn so much from pain. And the reason why you don't want to learn from that pain is because nobody told you how to learn pain. And it's the same in business. You take a mentor for business. You take a trainer for business. You take a mentor for physical. Like, learning from others who went through that pain is the best thing that can happen to you. If I meet today we meet people who have been more successful in other things in life, nutrition, sauna, cold plunge. We go in a lake in Zurich for 2 minutes. 1 minute, maybe 1 minute, maybe 1.5. We have guys going 6-7 minutes in. This is 500% more. You know what we do? We don't say like, how this motherfucker can go there. We go up to these people and say, can you teach us how to do it? Because they know how to survive more pain. So they have a tool how to make it. So I always encourage people like, you can learn from everyone. And if you have an opportunity to learn through pain, use it. Because at some point, you get hooked on that pain. You go to the gym and you know like how to get 6 kilos more. You know what you have to do. And has definitely, the foundations definitely go through more pain and more recovery and balances out. So pain is the best thing that can happen. Give me pain. Life, if you hear me, give me pain. I'm ready.
Yeah, and definitely the physical pain, I think, trains your mental.
It's a back and forth, definitely.
Yeah.
So we have been going for a little while, so I like to leave people with like a mentorship mantra or just like a general idea you can give people, someone who's kind of like at that bad point, rock bottom, and they don't know where to start. Should I start with a workout or gratitude? So I would ask you, and if you wanted to add something to before, feel free, but what's a good, message you can give to someone who's just lost, they're not aware, and they want to grow?
So I think it's always important also to realize that there is no right and there is no wrong. So you just need to step out, try something new, do good to yourself, whatever that might be. If it's like a new hobby, if it's like a new project, or if it's like to take care of your family more, or to take care of your friends, or to your kids more, whatever it is, there is no right and there is no wrong. Just choose your own way of creating a good life for yourself. And then you can also play a little bit, like as we did when we were kids. We were just playing around, trying new things. And then we figured out, oh, yeah, I'm super good in this, so I will continue with that. Maybe I'm not so good in other stuff, so I just kind of skip it and I will focus more on that which I feel good with and which gives me strength. So I think we kind of really come back to that kind of childish way of trying things, playing around, taking also life not too seriously, not getting so much tensed up in our head, more focusing on your gut feeling, on your heart. And then just try new things, figure it out. And also, of course, you don't need to do things alone. So if you need help, you can always reach out and ask for help. You can even create then more inner connections in a kind of social way, but also, of course, in the connection of yourself. And there's always something new, and there's always a chance to really to grow. Like, it doesn't matter what direction. You just choose, you try, you do it, and you step further. And that's also what is life about, I think. Doing things step by step. There's no right, there's no wrong, just playing around and finding your own path, finding your own rhythm, and then stick with it and just go for it. Find your flow, and
Things will come together.
things will come, yeah.
Yeah, well said. And I've seen even people in their 80s change their whole life.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
my own grandma, like, she couldn't walk, talk, she could barely do anything in her 80s. Now she's 95 and she's doing amazing because she never gave up. Something's held on.
Yeah,
But
and I think maybe that's also the thing, that we need to learn to stick with that excitement and not to get like so easily frustrated or even stuck in that kind of pain. Really to come back to that joy and excitement of the main habit of seeing life as it is, without any right or wrong. Just go for it, and don't like see it so complicated in a way.
yeah, not so serious. And
Yeah.
they say, our brain stops growing when we're 25, but that's kind of when we stop playing, right? And we stop
Exactly.
enjoying, and we
Yeah.
take the job. And if you can keep that playful, creative, your brain keeps growing. I
Yeah.
think your brain will always grow.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, I think we really need to stick with creativity, because once this is like kind of out of sight, then you start to analyze everything and you're so stuck in your head that you don't even feel maybe your personal creativity, like really to play and try new things and to also see the balance in life a bit, and not like that kind of, let's say, like the situation of, okay, there's only one right path and I need to follow it. I really need to force it because there is that goal and I need to reach it, otherwise I'm not a good person. No, I think all of this is kind of really bullshit. You have your own way, you have your own right also to figure out what is good for you, and then just to follow it in your own process, in your own rhythm, and not also to don't force yourself, to don't create too much pressure, because with all of these impulses you will lose your creativity. Stay gentle, stay also playful, stay soft in a way, and really finding the balance every time, maybe every day something new.
Comes
Yeah.
definitely from a yoga teacher, you can hear.
Yeah, yeah, very well said. And variety is the spice of life. I definitely think
Yeah.
mix it up. And
You said like if I speak to people who are like in rock bottom, first of all, I tell you this in your face. I have been in rock bottom several times in my life, financially, emotionally, physically. The best is thing to sit on this rock bottom and to just accept that you are there. There is no shame. Nobody will judge you. There's nothing wrong with it. We're all human. If he goes to shit or she goes to shit or I go to shit, my father always says we all stink. Okay? There's no difference. Like there's millions of people getting divorced. There's millions of people who are starting a startup and they fail. There's millions of people getting bankrupt. There's millions of people who get rejected from a girl or from a man. There's millions of people who are suffering from stuff which we call like unsuccessful or like you're not made it. But in the end of the day, nobody figured out here why we are here, okay? We're all trying our best somehow. But when you hit rock bottom, there's one thing that I can give you from my heart as an advice. Sit on it and look into the mirror and ask yourself, what does you and the world have from now complaining about that you're rock bottom? No, nobody has anything from it. Not your mother who put you on the earth here, not your father, not your brothers, not you, not me. The only thing that you can do right now in my eyes is to accept, first of all, you hit rock bottom. You hit the rock bottom. You are there. That's it. Life wants to tell you something. And now you start to close your eyes and say, like, what do I feel about this situation? What do I really sense about this? Go from there. Go from an inner feeling and don't be afraid to ask for help. That's my last advice. I tried with my Greek ego a lot of times to avoid help from outside. But today, whenever I get paid from a client or we get paid from a client, we invest somewhere else to have another coaching or another workshop or something we do that brings us closer to ourselves. Because all this stacking up money will not help you anyway. So once you have money and you can afford, just go and ask somebody to help you, if it's physically, mentally, emotionally, or a combination, because this is the best investment that I ever did in my life. Like really, asking for help is also something that gets more normal in your life. Asking you for help, like, hey, can you show us here areas, rather than going on Google and checking like out what's going on. I ask you for like a nice reward, like I invite you for dinner or like lunch, and you show us here a little bit around, like asking, speaking with people, expressing yourself towards people that you love and trust, saying like, I got a problem, I got a challenge in my life, I don't know how to find a solution, can you help me please? It's like when you're rock bottom, is the best to just open up to people that you love and trust and say like, hey, I'm stuck. And don't be too proud of yourself to ask for this, because in the end of the day, as my father says, we all stink when we shit, so there's no difference anyway.
yeah, that's great advice. And help is such a good thing, right? It's so helpful. Help is like the
Yes.
best thing.
Help is helpful.
But
So
I
like
feel
that one.
like people are so scared of, I don't want to look dumb, or, I asked you, I'm like, how did you start mentorship? How do you charge people? And you were kind enough to give me free 5-minute long voice note.
Nice. I remember that, yes.
But,
But only because I saw how you ask and that you're already in that path. And I went to your profile. I was like, I want to help that guy because he's already made. And then I gave him a long audio, which is like, I think also it came from a source of like, I know it can help you. And you know what happens? Now I'm sitting in his podcast show. Imagine, my intention was to help. His intention was to ask for help. And now we're becoming friends and hanging out in Fort Lauderdale in the States, her first time. You see what comes out from this pure intentional thing? It's a good example, basically, what we did.
yeah, well, we could talk, I feel, for weeks, but thank you so much, Alex, Marie.
Thank
I
you so
appreciate you
much,
guys
yeah.
being here. It's a great episode. And if you don't know, High Impact Mentoring online.
They will
And-
find us. We always say people will
Yeah.
find us. This is the same for you. People who want to learn about mold, they will end up with you. People who want to learn about yoga nidra and meditation and limited beliefs, they will end up. If it's meant to be, because in every podcast show, they ask us for like web pages. And we say, they will find us. And it's the
Yeah.
truth. They will find us. But I'm appreciating having us. I think same for you.
Yeah, I'm appreciating it a lot
Yeah.
Of
for your
course.
invitation. For me, it's the first time. I had an amazing start, so thanks for everything.
Of course. Now we'll go find some alligators and I'll show you some cool Florida
Okay,
stuff.
let's do it.